Welcome, curious minds, to the Deep Seek Diaries. Today we're embarking on a really fascinating deep dive into, well, a fantasy almost as old as time itself, winning the lottery.
Ah, yes. The big one.
We've all been there, haven't we? That vivid daydream, the numbers aligning perfectly, poof! Instant freedom from money worries, limitless possibilities opening up, a life just utterly transformed overnight.
It's a powerful image.
Yeah.
A symbol of ultimate abundance for so many.
It really is. It taps into this deep desire for liberation, freedom from constraints. It feels almost universal. But for most of us, this whole dream of lottery success feels like, oh, pure chance.
Right. A roll of the cosmic dice.
Exactly. Just pure, unadulterated luck. But
Yeah.
what if? What if that whole narrative was fundamentally, radically wrong? What if the power to manifest something like that kind of desire, resided not out there in circumstances, but entirely within you? Okay, let's unpack this.
What's truly revolutionary here, and this is where Neville Goddard comes in, he completely shifts this paradigm. He was such a pivotal metaphysical teacher.
His work, Awaken Imagination, you mentioned.
Yes, exactly. And others too, but that one really gets to the heart of it. His work doesn't just introduce new ideas, it fundamentally redefines how we understand the very fabric of reality. He asserts that imagination. It's far more than just passive mental pictures.
Not just daydreaming?
Not at all. It is, in fact, the ultimate creative force, the only creative force, he'd say, capable of shaping your entire life's experience. So, the mission of this deep dive today, if you like, is to try and equip you with a comprehensive roadmap.
A roadmap to winning the lottery.
Well, a roadmap to approaching a lottery win. Not through relying on blind luck, but through the deliberate, conscious application of what Goddard called universal spiritual laws. His teachings constantly underscore that the inner world, your imagination, is the only reality.
The only reality. That's a big statement.
It is. And when that inner world is fundamentally changed, the outer world must inevitably follow. It has no choice. So what's fascinating here is this perspective suggests the lottery, often seen as the peak of randomness, right?
Yeah.
It can instead serve as a powerful demonstration of an individual's complete mastery over their internal state. Think about it. If you can consciously manifest something that seems so improbable, like a massive lottery win,
Yeah.
it stands as pretty compelling evidence, wouldn't you say? Evidence of an unwavering belief in and consistent application of this law of assumption we'll get into. It proves its universal applicability beyond maybe what seem like easier manifestations.
So it reframes the whole thing.
Completely. It reframes pursuing a lottery win from just a financial quest, which it is on one level, into something much deeper, a profound spiritual exercise and conscious creation and really personal mastery over your own mind and feelings.
A lottery win is a spiritual exercise. I find that incredibly compelling. It changes the whole texture of it. Before we go on, just a quick note.
Yeah.
If you're enjoying this deep dive, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and like the video. You're listening to the Deep Seek Diaries, and you can find us on major social media platforms like YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook.
Please do. It helps others find this material.
Absolutely. And all the resources we're discussing today, the books like Awaken Imagination, websites, and so on, they're all linked directly in the description section for your convenience. Please also take a moment to review our terms and conditions as soon as you can. Okay, now, settle in and let's continue this journey into Goddard's world. Now, to effectively apply Goddard's techniques for manifesting something as, well, specific and big as a lottery win, we really need to grasp his fundamental principles first.
Yes, absolutely foundational.
These core concepts aren't just abstract ideas floating around. They form the bedrock for all conscious creation. They give us the why behind the how, right?
Precisely. You need the framework before you can build. And at the absolute heart of Goddard's philosophy is this groundbreaking assertion that imagination is the ultimate reality and the sole creative power.
The soul power.
The soul power. It's crucial to understand this isn't just idle daydreaming or, simple fantasy. That's where a lot of people misunderstand it initially. Goddard views imagination as the very essence of the divine within each individual.
The divine.
He often referred to it as the Christ in us, or your higher self, your own wonderful human imagination. From this perspective, your imagination isn't just a mental faculty. It's the gateway to reality. It's the fundamental principle through which all things are conceived and brought into being.
Wow. Gateway to reality.
He even goes so far as to state it's the way, the truth, the life revealed. It's the active creative force, not just a passive space where thoughts hang out.
So if our imagination is indeed the ultimate reality, the only reality, what does that imply for, this world, the physical stuff we see and touch? Is it just a shadow?
That's precisely the implication. If imagination is the only reality, it means that external circumstances are secondary. They're derivative.
Yeah.
Your current physical reality, your bank balance, your job, your relationships, or a state of not having won the lottery
Right.
is merely a reflection.
A mirror.
Exactly. An objectification of a past imaginative act, or perhaps an unaligned internal state you're currently occupying. Therefore, the true power to change anything lies not in pushing against the external world, trying to force it.
Which is what we usually do.
It's what we're taught to do. But the real power lies in consciously shifting that inner reality first. Any limits you feel you have, any perceived limitations, Goddard would say they are self-imposed, created through an unawakened or maybe misdirected imagination.
So the power is always within.
Always. It's about recognizing that the power to change is always internal, and the outer world is simply catching up, reflecting back what you hold true inside.
Okay. Here's where it gets really interesting for me. Building on this incredible power of imagination, Goddard introduces what he calls the law of assumption. What exactly is this law? How does it work? Is it the engine of manifestation?
It really is the core mechanism. The law of assumption is, well, it sounds simple, but it's profoundly powerful.
Yeah.
It states that whatever you, as an individual, assume to be true.
Assume how? Like intellectually?
No, not just intellectually. By assume, Goddard means whatever you genuinely believe, accept as fact, and crucially, feel as if it already exists. That assumption, persisted in, will inevitably become your objective reality.
It will become reality, not it might.
It will. The external world, in this view, is a direct reflection of your inner world, specifically your dominant assumptions. So your thoughts, your beliefs, your feelings, they aren't just mental fluff. They are potent creative forces shaping your lived experience. It's not about wishing or hoping. It's about deep inner conviction, assumption.
That truly challenges the way most of us operate, doesn't it? We live by seeing is believing. I'll believe it when I see the money in the bank.
Right, and Goddard completely flips that.
He turns it right on its head. How do we actually internalize believing is seeing when all our senses, our bank statement, everything is screaming the opposite?
And that is the core challenge, isn't it? It requires a radical shift. From seeing is believing to believing is seeing. It demands a deep conviction that something is true before any physical evidence shows up.
Okay.
So the journey of manifestation, therefore, it's primarily an internal one. It's focused on convincing yourself at a profound subconscious level that the reality you desire is already established, already done, over, finished.
Done.
It means operating from the feeling of the wish fulfilled, even if your current physical world totally contradicts it. And that's where the practice comes in, consciously choosing, again and again, to assume the feeling of the end state, persisting in that assumption.
Okay, so we have imagination as the ultimate reality, the law of assumption as the mechanism. But why isn't just thinking about it or maybe doing some superficial visualization enough? What's the secret Goddard keeps mentioning? Feeling is the secret. Why is that so vital?
Yes, this is absolutely crucial. Feeling is the secret. That's the title of one of his most powerful, concise books. It's the vital, indispensable ingredient for manifestation.
The secret sauce.
Exactly. Goddard emphasizes that simply thinking about what you want or visualizing it vaguely isn't enough to bring it into your world. The true secret creative power is the visceral feeling, the deep emotional resonance of the wish already fulfilled.
Not just thinking about it, but feeling from it.
Precisely. It's not enough to intellectually say, okay, I want to win the lottery. You must feel as if it's already possessed, as if it's already yours, as if it's a natural part of your reality right now. This deep emotional alignment, this inner state, it sends a powerful signal to that creative power within your imagination, attracting the circumstances that match that feeling.
So feelings aren't just passive responses to things happening to us. They're active creators. Many listeners might find it really hard to genuinely feel rich or like a winner when their bank account says otherwise. How do we bridge that gap without just faking it, feeling like we're lying to ourselves?
That's an excellent question, and it's a common hurdle. The understanding here is that feelings aren't merely subjective reactions. They are potent energetic signals that the universe or your deeper mind responds to. Your emotional state, when genuinely aligned with your desired outcome, creates a specific energetic signature.
A frequency, almost.
You could think of it like that, a frequency that the universe mirrors back. This is exactly why superficial affirmations, chanting, I am wealthy, while feeling broke inside.
Yeah, that rarely works.
It often yields no results because it lacks that genuine emotional resonance. There's no deep inner conviction. The quality of the feeling is paramount. It guides the manifestation process with precision, ensuring that what you truly feel on the inside is what materializes on the outside.
So how do you generate that genuine feeling?
It's not about forcing an emotion you don't currently feel. It's about immersing yourself so deeply in an imagined scene, the end scene we'll talk about, that the emotion arises naturally from that inner experience. It's about persuading your subconscious through vivid sensory detail. When you truly imagine hearing the congratulations or feeling the relief of paying off debts, the associated emotion of joy or peace will follow if you allow it. It's a practice of self-persuasion through inner sensory experience, not just telling yourself how to feel.
That makes so much sense. If you're just saying the words but feeling the opposite, they're just empty words. No power. Okay, moving to another key concept. Goddard talks a lot about living in the end. What does that truly mean? How is it different from just wanting something, maybe really badly, which is how most of us approach goals?
Living in the end is such a powerful concept, but often misunderstood. It describes the state of having already achieved your desire, internally achieved it.
Already done. Again.
Already done. It involves thinking from the perspective of the fulfilled wish, not merely thinking about it. See the difference? When you're thinking about winning the lottery, you're usually in a state of wanting, right? A state defined by its absence. Lack.
Yeah, you're aware you don't have it yet.
Exactly. But when you're thinking from the end, you are mentally, emotionally, imaginatively occupying that desired reality now. This state is characterized by certainty, knowing, peace, not longing or seeking or hoping. When you are living in the end, you are internally experiencing your desired outcome as if it has already happened, aligning your thoughts and feelings with this accomplished reality.
So the very act of seeking, of trying hard, actually keeps you from having it? That almost sounds like, forget what you want, just be it now. That's quite a psychological tightrope walk, isn't it?
It is, and it's a crucial paradox that challenges our deeply ingrained ways of pursuing goals. This approach implies that the very act of seeking, or constantly striving to manifest a desire, can inadvertently keep you stuck in a state of lack.
Because seeking confirms you don't have it.
Precisely. The act of seeking constantly affirms to your subconscious that the desired reality is not yet here, it's somewhere in the future. The true shift, the quantum leap, lies in embodying the person who already possesses the desire, allowing the external world, the mirror, to naturally catch up to this new inner state. And this also clarifies why focusing on the how or the when of manifestation can be so detrimental. Those concerns, how will it happen, when will it happen, they stem directly from a perception of lack, don't they?
Yeah, because if you knew it was done, you wouldn't need to ask how or when.
Exactly. It contradicts the core principle of assumption, that it's already done. You've made the inner decision, you've accepted it as fact within. Now you just allow the external world to reflect that inner certainty. It's a surrender to the inner reality having creative power.
So what does this all mean for our current reality? How does our inner world directly create our outer reality, according to this fundamental principle Goddard calls as within, so without?
This principle is really the bedrock of his entire teaching. It ties everything together. It reinforces that external reality is a direct, undeniable reflection of your internal state. It's the foundational belief for all conscious creation.
No exceptions.
No exceptions. To try and change the world, your circumstances, without first changing your concept of self, your internal state, well, in Goddard's view, that's struggling against the very nature of reality. It's like trying to change the reflection in the mirror without changing your face.
You can't polish the mirror to make the reflection smile.
Perfect analogy. There can be no lasting outer change. No new job that sticks. No lottery win. No truly improved relationship. Until an inner transformation has occurred first. This means the world you experience, including your financial situation or lottery outcomes, is a direct objectification of your state of mind, your dominant beliefs, and your imaginative acts.
That places an enormous amount of responsibility squarely on the individual, though, doesn't it? No blaming external factors, no bad luck. For someone really struggling financially, that might feel incredibly heavy.
You're absolutely right. It can feel daunting initially because it removes all external scapegoats. There's no one and nothing else to blame. This principle places absolute creative power and responsibility squarely on the individual. If an undesirable reality persists, it's understood as a consequence of an internal state or a self-concept that is not aligned with the desired outcome.
So the change has to start inside, always.
Always. True transformation begins with reshaping your self-identity, your inner beliefs, rather than trying to manipulate external circumstances. For the specific goal of a lottery win, this means cultivating the inner state of being a lottery winner. Not someone who hopes to win or wants to win, but someone who is a winner internally now. You have to become that person on the inside first, and then the outer world will conform. It's about taking full ownership of your creative power.
Fascinating. Okay, so before we even get to the specific techniques, the how-tos, it sounds like our mind, our emotional landscape needs some serious prep work, like tilling the soil before planting seeds.
Precisely. You can't just throw seeds on hard, unprepared ground and expect a harvest. Before diving into the specific actions for manifesting a lottery win, it is absolutely crucial to prepare your mind and emotional landscape for receiving such a significant manifestation.
Clear the weeds first.
Exactly. This involves cultivating clarity about your desire, diligently addressing any limiting thought patterns or beliefs, and systematically releasing any subconscious resistance that might be unknowingly blocking your path.
Let's start with clarity then. You mentioned defining your specific lottery win, going beyond just more money. Why is that specificity so important? How specific do we really need to get? Is it like down to the exact dollar amount?
Yes, clarity of desire is paramount in Goddard's teachings because it directly impacts the feeling required for manifestation. It's just not potent enough to vaguely wish for more money or to win the lottery. To effectively impress the subconscious mind, your desire needs to be crystal clear, highly specific.
So give me an example.
Okay, so this involves envisioning the exact amount desired. Yes, down to the last digit if you can. $10 million, not just a lot of money. And crucially, thinking about what you plan to do with it, how it feels to have that specific amount. How does $10 million feel different from $1 million or $100 million in terms of freedom or action?
Right, the feeling changes with the specifics.
It does. Now, the universal creative power itself, your imagination, doesn't differentiate between manifesting a lottery win or a promotion. The law is impersonal. But the specificity is not for the universe. It's for your individual subconscious mind.
Ah, it's for us.
Exactly. A vague desire leads to vague feelings. Vague feelings impress the subconscious vaguely, leading to potentially vague or even unwanted results. A precise amount allows for a much more accurate emotional and sensory experience of that specific reality. It makes it easier for the subconscious to grab onto it, to accept it, to imprint that desired outcome. This precision helps generate that profound feeling of certainty that is essential. It clarifies your inner blueprint.
That makes perfect sense. Vague instructions lead to vague outcomes. Okay, now a huge challenge for so many people is maintaining positive thoughts, especially about something like winning the lottery, in a world that often bombards us with negativity, self-doubt, or constant reminders of lack. What's this mental diet you mentioned? How do we actually put that into practice? Practical exercise 1.
The mental diet is absolutely key, and it's a disciplined, conscious practice. It's not passive. It's about controlling your thoughts and, very importantly, your inner conversations throughout the day. It's an ongoing, active process like a physical diet.
Policing your thoughts.
In a way, yes, but gently. It involves immediately noticing and replacing any negative or contradictory thoughts with positive aligned ones. This continuous internal dialogue is crucial because Goddard taught that our inner talking mirrors our imagination and the state we're currently fused with. Changing this inner talking is essential for shaping future facts. When you consistently think from the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you're investing your thoughts for future profit, as he put it.
Okay, so practical exercise 1, the mental diet. How does it work specifically for a lottery win?
Right. So it means actively catching and replacing common limiting beliefs. Things like, oh, I never win anything, or the lottery is just a tax on the poor, or that kind of money would just cause problems. You catch that thought.
And you replace it immediately.
Immediately. Consciously pivot to affirming, I am a winner. Money comes to me easily and effortlessly, or I have already won, and I am a wonderful, responsible steward of this abundance. Furthermore, the mental diet involves mentally rehearsing conversations of success.
Like imagining telling people.
Exactly. You could vividly imagine telling your best friend or your partner about the win. Hear their excited voice, feel their hug, hear their congratulations. Really feel the warmth and joy of those imagined interactions. The mental diet acts like a gatekeeper for your subconscious. If the subconscious is constantly hit with negative thoughts, it creates resistance, making it incredibly hard for your desired assumption to take root.
So you starve the doubts and feed the belief.
Beautifully put. By consistently refusing to entertain thoughts contrary to your aim, You create a fertile inner environment, no inner conflict. This shows that manifestation isn't a one-time trick. It's an ongoing discipline, maintaining that wish-fulfilled state daily, moment by moment.
This raises an important question, though. Sometimes it feels like we want to believe, we try the mental diet, but something deeper, some subconscious block, just resists. What are these blocks, especially around big money, and how do they actually stop us?
You've hit on a critical point, the one that often trips people up the most, especially with large sums. A significant obstacle lies in these deeply ingrained subconscious blocks. Beliefs about money, about worthiness, about possibility, formed over a lifetime.
Stuff we might not even be aware of.
Often not consciously aware of, no. Goddard emphasizes that the only real limits are the ones we place on ourselves through lack of belief, often subconscious belief. Our subconscious mind runs on programming built over years from parents, society experiences, and this programming is often rooted in limitation, fear, scarcity. This creates immense internal resistance, making it tough to manifest big outcomes, even if we consciously desire them.
Like having one foot on the gas and one on the brake.
Perfect analogy. We might consciously want the millions, but subconsciously believe rich people are greedy, or I don't deserve that much, or it's just not possible for someone like me.
So how do we get at these deep, often invisible blocks? You mentioned a technique called revision. Sounds powerful. Practical exercise 2, part 1.
It is incredibly powerful. The revision technique is Goddard's method for directly addressing these subconscious blocks because it works by rewriting the past programming that created them in the first place. It involves mentally rewriting past experiences of financial lack, perceived bad luck, specific lottery disappointments to align them with success and abundance instead.
Rewriting the past, how does that work?
Okay, practical exercise 2, part 1, the revision technique. The process is this. First, in a relaxed state, ideally the state akin to sleep, or SATs, which we'll detail soon, you identify a specific past event that still evokes feelings of lack, disappointment, or failure around money or winning.
Like that time I was one number off.
Exactly. Or a time you lost a job, or a period where money was incredibly tight and stressful. Pick a specific memory. Then you vividly reimagine that past event, but this time you mentally change the outcome to what you wish had happened.
So instead of remembering being one number off and feeling gutted, I'd remember seeing all the numbers match.
Precisely. You replay the scene of checking the ticket, but you clearly see your numbers winning. Then, and this is crucial, you fully allow yourself to feel the joy, the shock, the relief, as if you did win that specific past lottery. Feel it fully.
Or if it was a job loss.
You can reimagine getting the news, but instead of devastation, you feel relief because it immediately led to a much better opportunity. Or you reimagine a period of scarcity as a time of unexpected, miraculous abundance where needs were always met easily. The key is you must genuinely experience the positive emotions of the revised memory. The joy, relief, confidence, allowing these new feelings to replace the old negative ones tied to that memory.
And why does this work? It didn't really happen that way.
Here's the profound bit. The subconscious mind, according to Goddard, doesn't differentiate between vividly imagined reality and physical reality. It takes what you impress upon it with feeling as fact. Past negative experiences create grooves or programming of limitation and lack. By revising these memories with feeling, you are literally changing that subconscious blueprint. You're removing the energetic and emotional blocks tied to the past.
So it's not about denying what happened, but changing its power over you now.
Exactly. You're changing its impact on your present state and future potential. It's a powerful way to clear deep-seated resistance, recognizing that current struggles often stem from past programming. It smooths the path for large manifestations by removing those internal contradictions. And alongside revision, consistent use of I am affirmations helps reprogram those core beliefs about worthiness and capability. Statements like, I am wealthy, I am a lottery winner, I am deserving of abundance, I am capable of managing great wealth, repeated with conviction, with feeling, until they feel true inside.
So it's both removing the negative and adding the positive.
Yes. The presence of these limiting beliefs is often the primary reason people struggle. It's usually not external forces, it's internal resistance. The real work in manifestation is often this internal clearing. It becomes a journey of self-discovery, digging up and transforming that old programming. It's not just adding positive thoughts on top of a negative foundation. You have to actively remove the weeds that contradict your desired harvest.
Okay, this foundation is crucial. Now that we've laid that groundwork, prepared the inner landscape, let's dive into the practical techniques. The how-to for activating your awakened imagination for that lottery win. This is where the rubber meets the road, right? It gets exciting.
Absolutely. Now we build on that prepared foundation. The first critical step, and maybe the most important preparatory step for the actual imaginative act, is to craft your end scene. Practical exercise 3.
The end scene, okay.
This isn't just a vague image of money. It needs to be a short, very specific, sensory-rich mental scene. A little movie clip in your mind. And the key is, it must distinctly imply that the lottery win has already occurred.
Imply, not show the actual winning moment.
Generally, no. Goddard advised focusing on an action or experience that would naturally follow the completion of the desire. Something that wouldn't happen unless you had already won, and you need to craft a scene you can replay easily, over and over, until it feels completely real to all your senses.
All senses, like smell and taste, too.
Yes. Engage all your senses as much as possible. See the details clearly, hear the sounds involved, feel the textures, smell any associated aromas, maybe the new car smell or champagne, even taste perhaps a celebratory meal. Make it vivid.
Can you give us some really specific, concrete examples for a lottery win? What would these end scenes actually look like or feel like? How do they capture that implication?
Okay, great question. Let's brainstorm some. Remember, focus on the consequences, the natural aftermath of winning. Practical exercise 3. Craft your end scene. Seeing the winning ticket. Maybe you imagine holding the physical ticket. You're looking at it, maybe comparing it to the official lottery website on your phone or computer screen, and you clearly see your numbers perfectly matched. Don't just see it. Feel the texture of the paper, maybe slightly crumpled. Feel the weight of your phone. Notice the light reflecting off the screen. Checking the bank balance. This is a popular one. Visualize opening your banking app or seeing an ATM slip or a printed statement. You see the exact winning amount. Let's say $10 million credited to your account. Feel that profound wave of relief, of certainty, of peace washing over you as you see those numbers. Maybe you hear the quiet ping of the app loading or the rustle of the paper statement, hearing congratulations. Imagine a specific person, a close friend, your spouse, a parent, their voice filled with excitement, maybe disbelief turning into pure joy, congratulating you. Hear their exact words. You actually did it. You won. Feel the warmth of their hug, a celebratory handshake. How does their joy make you feel? Secure, validated. The feeling of freedom. This is less visual, more kinesthetic and emotional. Focus intensely on the feeling of being completely debt-free. Feel a weight lift off your shoulders. Feel the profound peace of mind knowing all bills are paid forever. Feel the joy bubbling up as you think about helping loved ones, or the exhilarating excitement of finally pursuing that passion project, knowing money is no object. It's the internal sensation of boundless possibilities.
So the emphasis is on scenes that imply the win is done, rather than the drama of the draw itself.
Exactly. Goddard really stressed focusing on the consequences, the state after the wish is fulfilled. Why? Because that's where the feeling of having it resides most naturally. Focusing on mechanics, picking numbers, watching the balls drop can keep you in a state of anticipation or even anxiety. Focusing on the result, the feeling of freedom, the bank balance, the congratulations, makes it far more emotionally resonant and believable for the subconscious. It centers you in the experience of having already won. That subtle shift is crucial.
That makes perfect sense. Focus on the result, the feeling of the result. Now, once we have our carefully crafted end scene, how do we get into the right mental space to really plant this vision deep into our subconscious? You mentioned the state akin to sleep or SATs. What is that exactly? Practical exercise 4.
Right. SAPs. The state akin to sleep is a cornerstone technique. It involves intentionally entering a deeply relaxed, drowsy, receptive state. Think of that feeling just as you're drifting off to sleep or just as you're waking up.
That hazy, floaty feeling.
Exactly. It's often associated with alpha or even theta brainwaves. In this state, the conscious analytical mind, the part that doubts, questions, criticizes, naturally relaxes its guard. This makes the subconscious mind incredibly open, like fertile soil, ready to receive new impressions and suggestions without resistance.
So how do we get there intentionally, besides waiting to fall asleep?
Well, SATs naturally occurs right before sleep and upon waking, which are prime times. But you can also induce it intentionally. Practical exercise 4. Entering the state akin to sleep. SATs. Practical exercise 4. Find a comfortable position, usually lying down, in a quiet place where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes. Start taking slow, deep, rhythmic breaths. Focus on your breathing to gently quiet the chatter of your conscious mind. Then progressively relax your body. Start with your toes. Consciously tell them to relax. Feel them get heavy. Move up through your feet, ankles, calves, thighs, letting go of all tension. Continue up through your torso, arms, neck, face, until your whole body feels heavy, relaxed, and inert. The goal is physical stillness and mental quietude.
And the timing you said before sleep and upon waking are best. Why is that so crucial?
Yes, the timing is incredibly important. Those specific periods, just before drifting off and immediately upon waking, are when the conscious mind's critical faculty, that inner skeptic, is naturally at its lowest ebb. It's drowsy, less active. By impressing your desired reality, your end scene, during a day sets, you effectively bypass this critical filter.
Sneaking it past the guard dog.
Potentially, yes. You plant the seed of belief directly into the fertile ground of the subconscious without it being immediately rejected by rational doubt. This technique is particularly vital for manifesting desires that might seem impossible or highly improbable to the logical mind, like a huge lottery win. It significantly reduces internal resistance and accelerates the reprogramming process. It's like planting a seed directly into rich, receptive soil instead of trying to jam it into hard concrete.
Okay, this feels like the most vital part, the real engine room. Truly feeling the win. You're in SATs, you have your scene. How do we actually do that? Especially when, like we said, it hasn't happened yet, and our current reality might be screaming the opposite. Practical exercise 5.
You're right, this is the absolute core. This is where the magic happens, where assumption hardens into fact. While you're in that relaxed, sad state, the crucial step is to vividly replay your crafted end scene over and over in your imagination. But just seeing it isn't enough. The absolute key is to feel the emotions of the wish fulfilled as intensely, genuinely, and naturally as possible. This isn't about faking it. It's about experiencing it internally until the feeling is real. Practical exercise 5. Immerse and feel the power of emotional embodiment. Here are some techniques to deepen that feeling. Sensory engagement. Don't just passively watch your scene, actively participate with all your inner senses. See the vibrant colors, the specific details. Hear the sounds, clearly the voice congratulating you, the rustle of money, if that's your scene, the sigh of relief. Feel the textures, the ticket, the keyboard under your fingers as you check online, the warmth of a hug. Imagine any smells, maybe the scent of a new leather wallet, or the salty air on a dream vacation funded by the wind. Make it real to your inner senses. Build a rich, immersive inner world. Emotional washover. As the scene becomes vivid, consciously allow the associated feelings to wash over you. Invite the feelings of immense joy, profound relief, deep gratitude, bubbling excitement, unwavering certainty. It's not about forcing a manic, over-the-top happiness, but cultivating a deep, natural sense of certainty that it's mine. Feel the relaxation that comes with knowing the problem is solved, the desire is fulfilled. Let that feeling permeate your whole being. Repeat until real. Replay the scene and its accompanying feelings repeatedly. Loop it gently in your mind, like a short, cherished memory you're reliving. Continue until the scene and its feeling become entirely natural, familiar, almost mundane like home within your consciousness. You'll often know you've successfully impressed the subconscious when the feeling of wanting the win actually disappears. Why? Because you've already experienced it as a reality within. You've satisfied the desire internally.
So the feeling itself creates this powerful feedback loop that starts to influence reality.
Exactly. The act of intensely feeling the wish fulfilled creates this potent, self-reinforcing connection between your imagination, inner reality, and your physical experience, outer reality. It establishes a feedback loop. The more genuinely you feel it, the more your subconscious accepts it as fact. This acceptance then influences external circumstances to conform, which in turn reinforces the feeling when you notice subtle shifts or synchronicities. This is the process Goddard called the assumption hardening into fact. It emphasizes that the quality and intensity of the feeling are paramount. Superficial visualization without that genuine emotional counterpart will likely yield limited results. The ultimate goal is to reach a state of inner conviction, a quiet knowing, where the external world is simply catching up to what you already accept as true inside. It's like setting a destination on your internal GPS. The route unfolds automatically once the destination is firmly locked in.
I hope you are enjoying the topic so far. Remember, you're deep diving with the Deep Seek Diaries. Please subscribe and like this video if you're finding this valuable. You can find us on all the major social media platforms like YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
Your support really helps us continue these explorations.
It really does. And don't forget, all the resources we're discussing today, the books, any websites, they're all linked right there in the description section for easy access.
Okay, so once that inner impression of the lottery win is deeply made, hopefully through repeated SAT sessions feeling that end scene, the work isn't quite over. Your daily life, your waking hours, should then reflect the unwavering assumption that the win is already a done deal.
Living from the end again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This crucial step involves consciously releasing any anxiety, any worry, any concern about how or when the manifestation will actually appear in the physical world. Throughout your day, you should practice consistently reminding yourself, it's done. It's already mine. The problem is resolved. There's nothing more for me to do but accept it.
What about when doubts creep in, or when reality seems to contradict it?
Doubts will likely surface, especially initially. That's natural based on old programming. The key is not to fight them or feel bad about them. Simply acknowledge them without giving them energy. There's that old thought pattern. And gently, persistently, remind yourself that the desired reality has already been selected internally and is now unfolding. You just return your attention to the feeling of the wish fulfilled. There's no need for constant mental warfare. It's a gentle redirection back to your chosen state.
So no obsessing about buying the ticket every day or checking the numbers compulsively or constantly wondering how the money will physically show up. That feels really counterintuitive for something so big we want to do something.
It is counterintuitive to our usual action-oriented approach, but that's precisely the point here. A key principle is to detach from the how and when. Your role, once the inner work of assumption is done, is not to figure out the mechanics or orchestrate the specific path of manifestation.
That's the universe's job, or imagination's job.
You could put it that way. Your job is the what, the assumption, the feeling, not the how. There's no need to actively wait for it, because waiting implies it isn't here yet. You assume it has already occurred internally and focus on enjoying the feelings associated with having it, the peace, the freedom, the joy, rather than fixating on the timeline or method. Once the inner work feels complete, you live your life fully.
So don't put life on hold.
Absolutely not. Engage in activities that bring you joy, fulfillment, knowing that the desired reality has been selected, even if the old negative reality is still physically apparent for a time. Any anxiety, doubt, or act of trying to force it signals a lack of trust. It signals you're still clinging to the old reality, which actually creates resistance.
Like holding the door shut when you want something to come in.
Perfect. The creative power within operates best when you don't interfere with conscious worry or attempts to control the external process. This requires a profound letting go, a surrender to the unseen unfolding. It's often challenging in our society, but true faith in this context is demonstrated not by frantic effort, but by a serene, quiet knowing that the desired outcome is assured because you've claimed it within.
So carrying that feeling, that assumption throughout the day, our everyday inner thoughts, our mental chatter are constantly shaping our reality then. It sounds like the mental diet we discuss isn't just a prep exercise, but a continuous moment-to-moment practice.
Absolutely. It's ongoing maintenance. The internal dialogue you engage in throughout your waking hours must consistently align with the reality of having already won the lottery. This is the continuous application of the mental diet principle, a constant, gentle monitoring and directing of your inner conversations.
How do we do that effectively, beyond just stopping negative thoughts? Practical exercise 6.
Well, you actively use affirming inner speech. Construct sentences that clearly imply the fulfillment of your desire. Use I am statements powerfully. I am so grateful for my financial freedom. I am enjoying my lottery winnings immensely. I am wealthy and secure. These statements should be repeated silently or even whispered audibly until they evoke an inner feeling of truth and certainty.
Feeling it again, always back to the feeling.
Always. Goddard taught that our inner speech literally represents the state we are currently living in, and the conditions and circumstances of our lives are simply our inner talking made visible, objectified. Therefore, consciously directing this inner talking is crucial for shaping future facts. Practical exercise 6. Master your inner conversations and affirmations. Practical exercise 6. And there are specific techniques to make these inner conversations feel more real and impactful beyond just repetition. One powerful method is what Goddard sometimes called the telephone technique or the eavesdrop technique.
Telephone technique, eavesdrop technique. Tell me more.
Okay, so the telephone technique involves vividly imagining a realistic conversation, perhaps on the phone, perhaps in person with a friend or family member who is congratulating you enthusiastically on your lottery win. Hear their specific words, their tone of voice, their genuine happiness for you, and hear your own calm, natural, knowing response. Feel the reality of that exchange.
Okay, got it. And eavesdropping.
The eavesdrop technique is similar, but you imagine overhearing others discussing your good fortune. Maybe you mentally eavesdrop on two friends talking about you. Did you hear? They won the big one. Isn't that amazing? Or maybe you imagine hearing a news report snippet mentioning the lucky winner from your town, implying you. This practice reinforces the reality of the win through imagined social validation. It makes it feel more objective, more externalized, further impressing the subconscious.
Ah, that's clever. It makes it feel less like just my internal fantasy.
Exactly. It adds a layer of perceived external reality. Your inner conversations are constantly shaping your future. By consciously directing this still small voice to consistently match your fulfilled desire, you create a perpetual reinforcement loop. Every internal thought, every imagined conversation becomes an affirmation, constantly impressing the subconscious with the desired reality, even outside of your dedicated asset sessions. This really emphasizes that manifestation isn't just a technique you perform for 5 minutes, it's a state of being you live in, an internal environment you constantly cultivate. The quality of your inner monologue directly correlates with the quality of your outer world.
Let's really deep dive into the revision technique again. We touched on it earlier for clearing initial blocks, practical exercise 2, part 1. But it feels like it could be a powerful ongoing tool as well for maintaining that clear inner state, especially if old memories or feelings pop up later. Practical exercise 2, part 2.
Indeed, it's not just a one-off fix. The revision technique is exceptionally powerful and, frankly, often underutilized as an ongoing practice for addressing any lingering subconscious programming related to past financial setbacks, previous lottery losses, or just a general feeling of bad luck that might try to creep back in and hinder your current manifestation efforts. Think of it as continuous mental and emotional hygiene. Practical exercise 2, part 2. The revision technique. Ongoing application. The process remains the same. Identify specific past events that still trigger even a faint feeling of lack, disappointment, or failure regarding money or winning. Maybe a new memory surfaces, or an old one gains new charge.
So if I'm feeling good about my assumption, but then I suddenly remember that time I lost money on that investment and it brings me down, I revise that memory.
Exactly. In a relaxed state, ideally SAs, you vividly reimagine that specific past event, but you change the outcome to what you wish had happened. So for that investment loss, you might reimagine making a different decision or the investment succeeding wildly. For a past lottery near miss, you replay checking the ticket, but see all your numbers winning. And crucially, you allow yourself to fully experience the positive emotions, the relief, the joy, the confidence, the feeling of success associated with that revised memory. Let those positive feelings completely permeate your being and replace the old negative emotional charge tied to that specific past event.
And remind us again, why does rewriting the past like this work so effectively?
Because, as we said, the subconscious mind doesn't judge between vividly imagined experience and physically experienced reality. It accepts what is impressed upon it with feeling. Past negative experiences created subconscious programs, patterns of thought and feeling associated with lack or failure. By revising these memories with positive feeling, you're literally changing that subconscious blueprint in the present. You're neutralizing the negative energetic and emotional blocks tied to the past.
So you're changing the meaning and the feeling of the past, which changes your present state.
Precisely. You're not denying the physical event occurred, but you are completely changing its impact on your current state of being and your future potential. It's about releasing old patterns that no longer serve your chosen reality. It smooths the path for large manifestations by ensuring your entire internal landscape, past and present, is fully aligned with your desired outcome. It keeps the inner channel clear.
Beyond these really specific techniques, it sounds like sustaining the manifestation of something as potentially life-changing as a lottery win requires sticking to some overarching principles, a commitment that goes beyond just the daily essay tests or revision sessions.
That's absolutely right. Techniques are tools, but the underlying principles are the foundation. Manifestation, particularly for significant desires like a lottery win, requires consistent application of the techniques, yes, but also unwavering faith, especially when the external reality seems slow to change or even contradicts your inner vision. This is where persistence becomes absolutely indispensable.
Sticking with it no matter what.
Sticking with the assumption. Persistent assumption and the feeling of the wish fulfilled is the means by which an intention becomes objective, physical reality. Goddard constantly urged his students to persist in it. Keep doing the mental practices daily, like exercising a muscle. Consistency is key. Rewiring deep-seated subconscious beliefs takes time and dedicated, focused effort.
It's not always instant magic.
Rarely is it instant for major shifts. The assumption, hardening into fact, as he described it, implies a process. It's not always instantaneous. There's often a time lag, an interval required for the subconscious programming to fully integrate, and for what he called the bridge of incidents to unfold.
Bridge of incidents,
Well,
what's that?
That's the natural, often unexpected, sometimes seemingly mundane sequence of events that leads you from your current state to the physical manifestation of your desire. It might involve seeing an ad, bumping into someone, getting a sudden urge to buy a ticket at a specific place. Seemingly random events that are actually orchestrated by your subconscious based on your assumption.
You mentioned an anecdote earlier about a winner taking months.
Yes, I recall one story where someone applied these principles and manifested a significant win over about 4 months, despite having initial doubts and no history of winning anything. This illustrates that while the internal shift, the assumption, can be immediate, the external world often takes a bit of time to rearrange itself to perfectly match your new inner reality. It's not about forcing, it's about persistent, serene knowing.
So managing expectations around timing is important. Patience and consistency.
Exactly. Patience and consistency are essential virtues here. It's not about achieving one perfect visualization session. It's about cultivating and maintaining a sustained inner state of knowing and having. Just like a seed needs time, water, and sunlight to grow into a tree, your desire, once planted in the subconscious, needs time and your consistent nurturing assumption to unfold fully in the physical world.
Okay, if we connect this to the bigger picture then. Once the inner work is done, once the assumption feels solid, how do we really handle the how and when? We're told not to worry about it, but that's easier said than done for most people, right? It feels like a massive leap of faith into the unknown.
It truly is a leap of faith, Mike, but it's a vital one for this process. It's tremendously important to consciously trust the unseen process and deliberately release the need to control or even understand the how or the when the manifestation will occur.
Let go and let Goddard.
Huh. You could say that. Or let go and let your own imagination do its work. Once you've done your inner work, firmly established the assumption with feeling, your active role shifts. You must trust implicitly that the universe or the creative power within you is now actively rearranging circumstances, orchestrating that bridge of incidents to bring the desire to fruition.
So, less doing, more being.
Much more being. This involves letting go of the need for constant external validation or immediate proof. Embrace the profound power you carry within. Your role is not to figure out the intricate mechanics. It is simply to become the person for whom the desire is already a natural reality. The universe, or infinite intelligence, is depicted as waiting to bring forth what has already been accepted as fact within your imagination.
And trying to force it or figure it out gets in the way.
It absolutely can. Attempting to force specific outcomes or predict the exact steps of the bridge of incidents usually indicates a lack of trust in your inner power. It means you're still operating from the conscious mind's need for control, which can inadvertently block the natural, often surprising, unfolding. Goddard also spoke of an appointed hour for manifestation, suggesting a kind of divine timing that aligns perfectly once the inner state is firmly established. This fosters a state of relaxed expectancy, a calm knowing, rather than anxious anticipation. You align with the flow of creation instead of struggling against it. You simply know it's on its way because it's already done within.
How can gratitude be used as a tool here? Especially being grateful for something that hasn't physically shown up yet. It feels a bit counterintuitive again. How do you feel genuinely grateful for millions you don't technically have?
It might seem counterintuitive to our logical, linear minds, yes. But cultivating a deep, genuine sense of gratitude as if the lottery win has already occurred is an incredibly powerful practice. It significantly amplifies the feeling of fulfillment, the feeling of the wish already being real.
So gratitude locks in the feeling.
It's one of the most potent ways to do so. When you give thanks before the physical world provides the external proof, and you maintain this feeling of gratitude sacredly, perhaps even silently within yourself, you're no longer merely wishing or hoping. You are actively creating from the state of already having received. Gratitude, in this context, is considered the highest expression of faith.
Faith that it's already done.
Exactly. It serves as the final internal evidence that what you sought is already possessed within your consciousness, allowing feelings of joy, immense gratitude for the freedom, the security, the opportunities to wash over you now reinforces this state powerfully. Gratitude for something not yet physically present is a potent affirmation of belief and a clear signal of the wish-fulfilled state. It's an active declaration that the desired reality is already established, which reinforces inner conviction and can significantly accelerate the manifestation process. It shifts your entire focus from lack to abundance, naturally aligning your inner state with the outcome you desire. It tells the universe, "Thank you, I have received."
This raises an important question. After exploring all of this today, imagination as reality, assumption, feeling, living in the end, revision, persistence, trust, gratitude. What's the most profound, the ultimate takeaway from all of Neville Goddard's teachings? What's the single biggest truth at the heart of this whole philosophy?
The ultimate truth, the principle that underpins everything else in Goddard's teachings, is profoundly simple yet world-changing. There is no one to change but self.
No one to change but self. Wow.
All transformation begins and ends within the individual. The external world is consistently portrayed as nothing more than a mirror, reflecting back your own internal state, your own consciousness. As he famously stated, there is nothing to change but one's concept of self.
Your idea of who you are.
Exactly. As soon as you succeed in truly transforming your self-concept, your inner beliefs about who you are, what you're capable of, what you deserve, your external world, Goddard insists, will literally dissolve and reshape itself in perfect harmony with what that inner change affirms. It has no choice.
So total responsibility, but also total power.
Precisely. This profound principle places absolute creative power and responsibility squarely on you, the individual. It asserts that external circumstances, including financial situations or lottery outcomes, aren't random or imposed from outside. They are direct objectifications, projections of your own inner state. This understanding removes all external scapegoats, all reliance on luck. You become the sole point of leverage for change in your own world. The reality you experience will always reflect the state you choose to occupy within.
That's the ultimate empowerment, isn't it?
It truly is. If you're dissatisfied with your reality, you possess the inherent power to change it, not by fighting the reflection, but by transforming your internal state, your assumptions, your feelings, your concept of self. It makes life a continuous journey of self-awareness and self-mastery.
Wow. So, to try and summarize this incredibly deep dive, the journey to manifesting a lottery win using Neville Goddard's framework is fundamentally an inner one.
Through and through.
It's a profound process that reveals our own human imagination as the supreme creative power, with our feelings acting as the secret key, the fuel to unlock manifestation. We've covered the key practical steps. Crafting that vivid end scene, entering the receptive state akin to sleep, SATS, really immersing yourself in the feeling of fulfillment, living daily from the end state, mastering your inner conversations, and constantly revising any past limitations that crop up.
And all of these powerful steps, all these techniques, converge on that one central truth. The external world is always inevitably a mirror reflecting your dominant inner state. You are not ever at the mercy of chance or luck. You are the source. You are the operant power in your reality.
So we are the winners already.
You are the winners, long before any numbers are drawn or tickets are checked, once you successfully assume that state within. The path to a lottery win, or frankly to any deeply desired manifestation, involves going within, assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled, living from that end state, and simply allowing life, the outer world, to catch up to your imagination. The desired outcome is already within you, waiting to be claimed, acknowledged, and accepted as fact.
So we really want to encourage you, our listener, to walk boldly in this creative power, knowing that what you truly seek is already yours within consciousness. The call to action really is to claim your desired reality daily through your focused imagination, your heartfelt feelings, your inner words, and your unwavering faith in the unseen reality that shapes the world.
Live from the end. Persist in that assumption.
Exactly. By living from the end, acting as though the desire is already fulfilled, and remaining loyal to that unseen inner reality, your external world will inevitably rearrange itself to reflect the state you've chosen to occupy within. The winning ticket, in essence, is already held firmly in your consciousness. Now, here's a final thought to consider as you go about your day. How might this powerful principle, this ultimate truth that there is no one to change but self, apply to other areas of your life? Beyond just a lottery win, how could embracing this lead to even deeper personal transformation, freedom, and liberation in all aspects of your experience? I hope you've enjoyed today's deep dive on the Deep Seek Diaries. Please don't forget to check out the linked resources in the description section for more on Neville Goddard's incredible teachings.
There's so much more to explore there.
Absolutely. And please hit the subscribe and like buttons as you head off if you haven't already. It truly helps us reach more people. Until the next deep dive, goodbye.